So you said start with the people, and I also read on your blog that essentially you typically don't like to work with entrepreneurs who are solo entrepreneurs. Is that true?
No, I don't. I think Paul Graham, who is a really great entrepreneur and has a program called Y Combinator, which tries to give young entrepreneurs the opportunity to start companies and collaborate. And Paul gave a presentation where he said something that I thought was really interesting. He said, Paul, don't invest in individual entrepreneurs, because if you can't convince one other person to work for you, then there's probably going to be some troubles in your business. I think there's something to be said for that. And I think ultimately, no one person has an understanding of all the disciplines it takes to create an interesting business. So I would much rather have a group of people come to me and tell me about how they've worked together for a long period of time, or how they got to know each other and why they're looking at a particular market. I think that's a better model. But if one individual who was spectacular and smart and had a great idea came into my office and said, here's my idea, I would say, have you started talking with people about this idea? And if the answer was no, I haven't, then I'd say, great, sounds good, let's fund you. If the answer was, I have, and I haven't had a lot of traction, people aren't that interested, that's a problem, right? Because ultimately, entrepreneurs need to convince other people to do irrational things, right? Startups are about irrationality. They take a lot of work. You have big companies that have to bet on software that is unproven, with teams that might run out of money, all these things, all these reasons why you would just never deal with a startup. But why do you? Because some really incredibly charismatic, smart person says, let me tell you about this thing, it really changes the world, and you say, wow, you're right. So if that person discusses it with a bunch of people, hey, I need to find engineers, and can't motivate others to join them, it's a problem either with the entrepreneur or with the idea, or a combination. And so it's a problematic indicator, but it's not the end of the discussion.